Hey, what's up? Happy Sunday. Scoots. I'm drinking some Canada Dry, lemon lime, and I'm just going to do the run through of what's coming up this week on the public feed and the Patreon stuff. I hope everybody's good. I'm a little wiped. I'll talk about why I'm tired, but it's a good reason. Co is snoring a little bit away. Pop into the chat if you're watching on Patreon and you want to chat. Just click through to YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, just go ahead and hit me with any questions. And then this is like the one Halloween candy that I don't think I've had hey Connor, I don't think I've had 100 grand bar, and I have no idea when, but I can kind of remember it. So I figured I'd eat one of those for dinner, I guess. So yeah, let's run through what's coming up tonight. Already out, I hope, is hey IQ, is a new episode of The Good Place. Let's double check the feed. Yeah, Fractured Inheritance, really good episode of the podcast. Hey Heidi. I think the podcast, the show was a really good episode. It was really, it's even for The Good Place and for a comedy, there was a couple like emotional notes where I'm like, where are they going to take the rest of the season? It also looks like the season's extended. I thought it was going to end. I was like, oh, that's a weird note to end on. But I don't know how many episodes they would try to fit in before Thanksgiving. But it looks like there's going to be 2 more episodes at least before Thanksgiving. So that's cool. Hey, Christina. So that's out tonight. Hey, Amy. Hey, Shelly. Great. Happy birthday. So yeah, Good Place is out in both feeds tonight. Next week will be Good Place episode 8. I don't know the title of it yet. It looked like Eleanor. Oh no, I don't know what the twist of that last episode was. I can't even remember. Let's see what else is coming up on the releases this week. So 6 on Monday night for all patrons as part of the fundrive. 6-episode story-only version of episode 692 will come out as fair as the State Fair, which is one of those State Fair nostalgia history episodes. Kind of got a summer flair to it. And then speaking of flair and the word fair, when Tuesday night will be episode 693. Because of the fund drive, it's going out to all patrons. Normally go out to $5 and up patrons, but that's episode 6 from the Stand Chronicles. Then for patrons, episode on Wednesday night will be, I don't know the episode number yet, but it's Nuns in Space, the Stand Chronicles, episode 13, which will be a recap of the story of the Stand Chronicles and the development of that season. And then Thursday night, it looks like it's scheduled for an all intro episode from like the 300s. I've got to double check that because I just got back in town. And then Friday night would be, and this is going out to all patrons as part of the fund drive, episode 381, Get Bezos, season 2, Scrambled Metaphors. That's episode 14 from that season. And there might be a deluxe episode that comes out on Saturday. Yeah, deluxe episode Saturday and Good Place episode 8. Yeah, I want to thank everybody that is taking part of the fund drive so far. I have to look at what I wrote. I think I put it in the let me look at my notes. I thought it was in these notes, but it's not in these notes. It should be in the notes for the post. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, so 76 people have upgraded their pledges. Our goal is like 10%. 1 out of 10 patrons, particularly in the $1 and $5 range. So it's 450. So we're a little bit, we got about 10 days left in the fund drive. So we have a little ways to go. So if you get value out of the show, if you're already a patron, if you're not a patron, think about becoming one. That's what keeps the show going. I just got back from PatreCon, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But if you are a patron at $1, $5, and you're in a position to do so, so only if you're in a financial position to do so, which is like why the goal is only 10%, and you feel like you get $5, $10, $20 of value out of the show, like you listen to 4 episodes a week or whatever, think about upgrading. And, as you've been seeing the digital rewards that the $10 and $20 patrons get, which is a lot, usually like 6 nights of content. That's part of the fund drive. It'll just help us close out the year on a positive and kind of be close to where I was hoping we would be at the end of the year. We're getting there. So, yeah. So that's a fund drive. I'm clicked away from YouTube right now, so I'm missing all the chat. Let me see what I missed here. Nostalgia episodes, streams is just as distracted. I'm pretty distracted. Yeah, Connor. I'm always 76. Hello, Melissa. JY, I'm glad I put you to sleep. Shelly, yeah, this is my new streaming studio, a.k.a. couch, dining room, living room, family room, Co's room, podcast interview room. Let's see. Okay, so let me keep going with this, what's coming up. I think that was everything that's coming up, right? Co's is sound asleep, Sarah. Oh, I could talk about the Halloween disaster we had, which wasn't a disaster. I think that's it. So I just got back from PatreCon, which is a Patreon conference, and it was amazing. Hey, Sepavans. And it was a really awesome conference. I think I put it in the post here. Like I got to be on a panel with Lindsay Ellis and Lori Penny. Lindsay's like a listener of the podcast, and I have links down in the post. I don't know if they're on the YouTube post, but they're definitely on the Patreon post. This is like kind of triggery stuff, but like, talking about the impact that this cultural behavior we're in of people wanting to express their viewpoints and other people. Bullying is not the right word, but I think like in the context of Sleep With Me listeners, just I don't know. It's the beginning of a conversation. It was a really powerful conversation, and it was just a pleasure to share the panel with the two of them and kind of hear what they're going through as creators and the amount of harassment they have to tolerate. They don't even have to tolerate it. They have to. It's just frustrating hearing from people from my community dealing with that. But it was a really powerful panel, and hopefully it's the beginning of a conversation of like, how do we deal with this when people in our culture are behaving this way? So try not to go too much into that, because I know it's bedtime for a lot of people. But for me, it was a really powerful thing with two amazing people. So that was cool. I don't know how many people know Chrysanthi Tan, who's also a Sleep With Me listener. I'm her patron. I got to see her, and we got to chat a little bit about just things and a lot of it was an amazing conference. A lot of amazing creators, and hopefully in what's next year, 2019, we'll be able to sorry, I'm like watching the chat and thinking at the same time, but 2019 we'll be able to do some cool partnerships. We'll see where things go, like with keeping the Patreon growing so we can start paying for collaborations. Well, Hannah, is it Hannah or Hannah? I'm happy the podcast put you to sleep. So I think that's it on the recap stuff. Anybody in the chat, hit me with any questions. I've got about like a little while. We'll talk about my Halloween. I got home. getting ready to take my daughter trick-or-treating. And Koa is usually like a very boundary-based dog. She doesn't usually get into stuff, but we had a Trader Joe's. It's not a gingerbread house, but it was like a cookie graveyard, much like a gingerbread house. And I got home and I opened the door and the gingerbread house is destroyed. And it was at first I thought she had just bumped into it, and then I was like, oh my goodness, she ate part of the gingerbread house, and it was chocolate cookie. And so it made for an interesting couple hours, but the vet ended up being okay. So we didn't have to go to the we were thinking we might have to, but it was like cocoa was a very low ingredient on the ingredient list, so we didn't have to take her to get her stomach pumped, luckily. But she never does. It's like so out of character. I'd moved the table that it was on, so I think it maybe just she was like, wait a second, what is that up there? Cool. Let me see. Yeah, I think my place is not very big, and this is my laptop, so I can't really do a tour of the new place. Elliot's been sick. Glad the special editions are helping. Laura enjoyed Dustbusters. I'm glad. Yeah, it's like, Melissa, it's the stuff that's beyond meanness. That was like what initially our panel was like pitched as something about criticism, but it's like when things are beyond the pale of criticism and behavior, like the kind of things that people say to me, they're getting 1,000-fold. It's definitely something. It's very sad and outrage. Let's see. Yeah, Heidi. So Ko's pretty good though. She made it through that one. Markeisha, is that correct, Markeisha? I'm glad you and your boyfriend listen. Yeah, loophole. It can even be more boring here. I'm gonna have a 1,000 grand bar now. If anybody's in LA, make sure you get tickets for Vulture Fest. Dooba 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 dooba. Thanks for promoting self-care and Lemons and Roses. So this is 1,000 grand. It, from my memory serves correctly, it's like Rice Krispies and Moratorium. Probably too intense to do for Koa. Maybe I could interview a dog about it. Let's see. So this is like caramel, chocolate, and oh boy. Not very good for the teeth. Let's see what questions are coming up. Oh yeah, Ko was dressed as Stay Puft. She wasn't super happy about it. I had to wear a hat trick-or-treating. Melissa likes the Star Trek. Thanks, Melissa. Yeah, I haven't worked on any Star Trek for a while, but I was just talking to Rob from Rob Has a Podcast, and he was giving me some Star Trek episodes to check out for the next round. Good old Agatha. Isaac, how raw is the episode of Sleep With Me? No, yeah, Sleep With Me takes that's why we were always trying to fundraise for the show. It's not raw at all. For the shows to sound like they do, it's just a result of hard work, not talent. So there's multiple listens to every episode by editor and by myself. So at least 20 hours of production time for every hour of the show. Isaac, yeah, just more free and easy it sounds. Usually it's some more of the work that goes into it, but definitely work. I mean, that's what makes it work. Oh, sweet. Markeisha, I got your name correct. Usually I have to strike out once. JY, yeah, I'm already doing it. I'm doing a live show in LA in 2 weeks. I do a monthly show here in the Bay Area. I'm just negotiating a 6-month thing right now to do it once a month for the next 6 months. So, we'll see how well. Yeah, we're working on it. I mean, trying to figure out a way to do it. The cost option. Let's see what else we got here. Most of Lex long episodes. Yeah, Isaac, there's like a lot of old bloopers on SoundCloud. Hey, Christine. Oh yeah, I got a cabinet full of Mallow cups. Good old Mallow cups. I save those for when I really need them. Cool. Any other things? I'm feeling really grateful. Went to this conference, talked to a lot of other people that are making podcasts or YouTube channels or musicians. If anybody needs any guitar lessons, check out Rob Swift on Patreon. And yeah, hopefully we can come up with some really cool. I don't know how many Game of Thrones fans are watching right now, but I'm at Alt Shift X. If anybody watches that channel, those are some amazing deep dives on Game of Thrones. Coffee or tea, Markeisha? Like I drink a lot of coffee. Laura asks, any teasers for the holiday episodes? Yeah, all the holiday episodes are in the can, I think. So let's see, what do we got? We have a 4-part series that's finished. It is called Happiest Holiday Shop. And it's kind of, in tone, it's not like this, but in conceptually, what I was going for was like it was inspired by Black Mirror and Twilight Zone. And if Black Mirror and the Twilight Zone met Hallmark Channel holiday specials, what would that be? But then cycled through the lens of Sleep With Me. So it's really, I hate comparing it to Black Mirror or Twilight Zone just because it feels like it's a pale, it doesn't have that ominous, the thing I love about Twilight Zone and Black Mirror is like the bleakness sometimes, which doesn't fit with Sleep With Me, but like I don't know. So it's a show about it's a 4-part series. It's 100% 100% episodic. Is that what I'm saying? Episodic and modular. Like the episodes are not connected at all, other than by the shop. And then there's one episode about the top holiday specials that I was researching. So I think that's the total of our holiday content. Then season 2, series 2, episode 2 of Doctor Who is a holiday theme. So we'll do that. Yeah, Black Mirror, just definitely not bedtime watching. Pineapple on pizza. Yeah, sometimes. I'm not a regular. Actually, I almost bought a Hawaiian pizza the other day. I mean, it won't be my go-to. I'm pretty much I test quality of pizza by how they do pepperoni or Italian sausage. But if the mood strikes, I'll go for it. Yeah, there's nothing scary about it, Laura. Like, so it's not. It's only influenced by Black Mirror. Just trying to be like, if Charlie from Black Mirror was making a Hallmark holiday special, but it's very more. It's like a bit like for me. It was interesting is that like these Hallmark holiday specials are kind of like these holiday rom-coms almost, where like a lot of them, and that channel doesn't even exist anymore. I think it was the Family Channel for a while. So it was like, oh, what would that be like with a kind of Sleep With Me version? But I guess I'm heavily influenced by Twilight Zone and Black Mirror. So it's like, oh, how can we make this like less sugar-coated? So it's so sugar-coated. Yeah, but it's definitely on the positive side, and everything. Every episode has it has a definite twist that is like Sleep With Me style, but it's all about relationships, not necessarily always romantic relationships, but it's a very focused on the relations, and that's like the concept of the happiest holiday shop. Let's see. So yeah, Markeisha, there's I have 6 Doctor Who episodes recorded right now. So once the Good Place season takes its break, we'll go back to Doctor Who, and then switch back to the Good Place. Waiting on rumors of when Game of Thrones is going to start, but I should get through all of season 2 of Doctor Who, David Tennant's first season. And I'm really enjoying it. Maybe we'll throw in some Star Trek, and that's probably going to get us through the end of the Game of Thrones. If Game of Thrones comes out in the spring, if it comes out in the summer, we'll probably the schedule might have a little more flex. Let's see what other questions we got. Heidi, my new closet is no more soundproof, I guess, than my old one. Maybe even less so because it doesn't have a door. So in some senses, parts of it are more soundproof because it's smaller. And I think I did a video on, I'll have to find it. It might be on Facebook or something. But it's definitely tighter, and it has a couple layers of moving blankets and curtains. But then because it doesn't have a door, I have like a room divider behind me and curtains and stuff. But I live closer to an airport now, so it's like so I have to take a lot of breaks, like when planes. I don't hear every plane, but just planes like that happen to go over my place or something. Convinced Spotify. I'm not. Oh, Spotify has a podcast on there. Isaac, Sleep With Me is on Spotify. You just you can search it right on there. And I think you can build playlists, or you can listen for free in a what do you call that? Podcast app. But yeah, we're on there. Let's see. Yeah, so Christina, fascinated by creativity of other artists and where people get inspired. Melissa, I'm really inspired right now. Not so much content inspired, but just spending time with other people, in some sense struggling or trying to keep things going with their own artistic careers, and some ideas of like how we could collaborate. But those would be more fun collaborations, maybe a couple episode-based collaborations. But I find most of my inspiration kind of comes from everywhere. I try to pay attention at all times. I don't know if I've seen Metalhead, that episode, Laura. I don't know if it sounds like Do I think it's too early for Christmas? I mean, the holiday creep starts as soon as Halloween ends, I guess. I mean, I try not to get into it until after Thanksgiving myself. But yeah, probably too early to put up decorations and stuff, especially for people like me that don't take them down. Okay, I got to get off here in like 1 minute. Anybody has any pressing questions? Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to watch that, Laura. Christine suggests Isaac listening on Apple Podcasts. You can make an all-night playlist on there too for free. Let's see, what artists and bands am I into? I don't know. I'm trying to like band Fish just they released an album live where they were pretending to be another band and pretending they were covering another band's album, but it was really an album they wrote as another band. And I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, but I'm interested to listen to that. Thank you, Clayton. Cool. Well, thank you everybody for coming out. Thanks everybody for supporting the show, whether it's spreading the word, or those of you that are patrons or considering becoming patrons, or those of you that have upgraded your pledges. That really is what keeps the show going. Oh, thanks, Merlin. You got to come to a show. Come out to a show. I don't have one scheduled for November. If I can get a spot, it'll be like a free show. But I'll definitely be doing a show in December. And then every month, ideally on the first. No, not the first. Excuse me. The second Tuesday of the month, or second Wednesday of the month. Cool. So some of you I've never chatted with before, so it's nice to chat with some of you. Isaac, Merlin, Melissa B, some of you, Heidi and Christine, I'm familiar with. Markeisha, great to meet you and your boyfriend, Laura, and a couple other people I've talked to before, Lemons and Roses, but Moratorium. Thank you all. I couldn't make the show if it wasn't for the emotional and the support you give and just the stories people share with me. It's a pleasure, and it really keeps me going. Like knowing the show can help you when in a place I've been, especially just after this weekend, like feeling really inspired, but also knowing that there's the deep dark night's kind of spreading its wings and seeing its impact on other people. Creating these safe places where people feel treated with dignity and respect is really important. And ideally that spills over in some way into everyone's lives, especially when you're more rested. But when you can think about what hurts you and then say, well, wow, like I know what it feels like for people to go after me, for sleep with me. I don't know. It's like, and make sure to vote, of course. I've got my ballot here. Luckily, I live in a vote by mail state, but make sure your voice is heard, and make sure your voice is heard in your actions too. Treat yourself with dignity and kindness. Practice self-care, self-empathy. It's not easy. Treat yourself with dignity and respect. I'm not joking. I talk to myself all the time. Talk to yourself in the mirror, and then bring it forward if you can. But take care of yourself. You deserve it. All right. Good night. Ba 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 ba.